Good morning. Welcome to Today in LA. I'm Forrest Lee, and want to thank all our sponsors and thank y'all for joining us this morning. We have a great lineup scheduled for you. We're expecting some calls coming in, but later on in the show we have a special guest, Matt Brown, the head basketball coach at Pike Liberal Arts. We'll be talking about his program, and they're off to a great start at Pike Liberal Arts. Today is the 21st day of January. For everyone out there, guys, we got about 25 days left before Valentine's Day, so it will be a great weekend to get your Valentine presents lined up. I believe it's going to be on a Sunday this year, so plan for that. And a couple of things in local sports. Charles Henderson High School boys and girls both went to Andalusia a couple of days ago and won, and it's difficult for me sometimes to pull up their record, but the girls won 39-35, and KK Hobdy scored 17 points, and of course the boys defeated Andalusia 57-46. And the way I have it, next Friday is their next game, unless they've had some schedule changes. You can call the high school, but their next game will be Carroll High School away. And there are a lot of big changes coming to the Alabama High School Athletic Association as it relates to region play and the state championships in basketball. So there's some changes there. Also locally, a couple of young men from Pike Liberal Arts have signed football scholarships. We would like to congratulate Caleb Geis and Peyton Dix. They will be accepting a scholarship at Independence Community College, which is part of the Kansas Jayhawk Community College Football Conference. And there's about 7 schools in that conference. And the best that I know, Mississippi has a lot of junior college football programs, and so does Kansas and Oklahoma. Georgia mainly is known for baseball, and Florida is known for baseball community colleges, but Alabama, to my knowledge, didn't have a community college or that kind of program. Also, some other great news for a local coach. Will Garner will be the new head football coach at Daleville High School for the Warhawks. He's a graduate of Lee Scott Academy. I believe he played for Robert Maddox, and Will played running back and was a safety for Lee Scott Academy. When he was a student at Troy University, he was on the Troy University golf team, and he was a volunteer coach at Charles Henderson High School. When he graduated, he took the middle school job, the Charles Henderson Middle School football job, and was very successful there with a 15-1 record. Good morning. Welcome to Today in LA.
Hey, morning. How are y'all?
Hey, Michael, I was just talking about Will Gardner from Charles Henderson High School will be the new head football coach at Daleville. And when he first graduated from Troy University, when he was a student at Troy on the golf team, he helped and was a volunteer at the high school. When he graduated, he took the head coaching job at the middle school, was there for a couple of years, was 15-1. Then he took a job at Northview. And then when Northview consolidated with Dothan, he came back to Troy as the defensive coordinator and strength and conditioning coach for Brad McCoy. And if I remember correctly, Coach Brad McCoy was at Daleville at one time, was very successful there. I think their record last year was 1-9, and that win was a forfeit win. So good luck to Will. He's a energetic, conscientious young man, and congratulations to him. We wish him the best of luck.
Yeah, I met him a couple times. I used to be in the sporting goods business out of Tuscaloosa, and I worked with Will and Coach Cope at the middle school, and Will's a great guy. Yeah, I'm excited for him. I could tell just meeting him back then, he was a good, young, fiery coach, and seemed like he really loved the games. Congratulations to him.
Right, and I'm just noticing, I'm talked a little bit about some high school basketball, but there's a kid named Trayvon Kimberlin, scored 49 points for Geneva over Dale County the other night. Yeah, that's a lot of points for a high school player. So I want to throw that out.
Yeah, I mean, high school. How many? You're playing? I guess what? 8, 10-minute periods. How's that work?
Well, I'm trying to think. Have they gone to 2 20-minute halves? I think it's 8. I think it's 8-minute quarters. So no, it'd be 12. Is it 12 or 8? It's been so long since I've seen a basketball game, but I'm gonna answer that question tomorrow. But how about the great news out of Troy University baseball program? Did you see that?
I have not. My wife and I had the girls yesterday, and we were out and about, and then we went to have a little dinner and listen to a little bluegrass music outside.
Well,
that'll make Dad happy that we're outside, and I hadn't heard anything. What's going on?
They're adding Florida State to the schedule. 3-game series.
I did see that. Yeah.
That's going to be the April the 30th through May the 2nd. And, of course, Troy's, that's exciting news when you can up the ante and play some caliber baseball program as that. But
is that going to be in Tallahassee?
In Tallahassee. But Troy baseball will open their season the weekend of the 19th through the 21st against Youngstown State. First pitch is at 6 o'clock on Friday night at Riddle Pace Field. So that's February the 19th on a Friday. The Troy women softball, they will open up with 2 tournaments back-to-back starting February the 12th, 13th, and 14th with the Trojan Classic. Then on the 17th, they'll host Liberty, and then the weekend of the 19th through the 21st, they have the Troy Classic. And in the article that I read this morning, it's going to feature a pair of Southeastern Conference softball teams in those tournaments. And the teams' names and the dates and all that will be released later. So, good news for Troy baseball.
Yeah, it'd be nice for Troy to play Auburn. I know Sam Yarbrough, Chad's daughter, is the top pitcher for Auburn. Of course, she grew up in Troy, and then it's always great to play Alabama and Patrick Murphy. They have one of the best programs in the country. I know when I lived up in Tuscaloosa, I was always amazed when I'd drive by that softball field, and it was always just sellout after sellout, and fans just standing and sitting everywhere. It's amazing how they get into softball up there.
Right. It's softball. Like I noticed one year. When you start the playoffs, some of those teams in North Alabama, when you play tournament game, you're limited to so many regular season games. But in a tournament, I forgot how many tournaments that you can participate in, but some of those teams have a 60-10 record. They play like 60 or 70 games in a normal season. But this will not be a normal season.
It's crazy how much these travel ball teams play. I mean,
yeah.
Man, I couldn't get over that. I mean, Harris Lilly driving their kids all over the Southeast. I talked to a buddy of mine the other day. I mean, he said they do so much travel ball stuff, his daughter and his sons, and throughout the Southeast, they had to get a plane to fly everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah. I was just like, my goodness, that's unbelievable.
Hey, Michael, I was going to touch with you just as a little side note to Tennessee. They had 4 more players, the top running back, 2 of the top linebackers, and another top offensive lineman are entering the transfer portal as of yesterday, and that makes about 20 or 21 players since December that have left the program. But I pulled up an article written by Ben Mackey about who are the potential athletic directors, and one has ties. A lot of them have ties to Tennessee, but East Carolina, UAB, Eastern Tennessee, the Kentucky athletic director, Austin Peay, Tennessee State. But anyway, UAB athletic director Mark Ingram was like one of the top 3. Now, what if he is hired? Bill Clark?
I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, I don't know if UAB wants to go the route to bring in another coach with, from the state of Alabama. I know, Jeremy Pruitt played at Alabama. Bill Clark, I don't even know where he played college ball, but I don't know if they want to go that route again. or not, if they want to bring in a guy with more Tennessee ties. Kevin Steele, the more it looks, I feel like he's going to be your coach until they figure all this out. That's a possibility, though, with Clark, but I don't know. I don't know if he would have – he'd still be able to come into the state of Alabama and recruit a lot of players, but Pruitt could do that. I don't know if he could do that in Tennessee.
Right.
I feel like Tennessee's got to get more of a big-name coach. I like what you're saying about Bill O'Brien. I like that name a lot more because a lot of guys want to go play coach. Want to go play college ball for a guy that coached in the NFL. Mm-hmm. It's just one of those things that he's been there, done that.
So Kevin Steele is going to be on the staff in some capacity.
I don't know if Deshaun Watson would have great things to say about it.
Right. Yeah, and there's so many scenarios in the National Football League about who's going where, who's going to trade up, draft. Hey, I'll trade you Deshaun. Who knows what's going to happen in the National Football League?
I saw where Cole Kubelik, of course, he's on the SC Network and played at Auburn, and he mentioned Eddie Grand as a possible running back coach at Alabama. Charles Huff got the Marshall job, and he's a great coach, great recruiter. I think top recruiter in the country. So that's going to be a key guy to lose. But Grant's been everywhere. He was offensive coordinator in Kentucky and just got fired. But he's an experienced head coach. Seems like Saban is starting to bring more older coaches in to his staff as the years go on.
It's and Bill O'Brien, you can Google him and it shows that the topic says that he's the new hire at Alabama, but that's not solidified. I think they're playing the waiting game to see what's going to happen at Tennessee.
Yeah, nothing's official yet.
So
the amazing thing is Alabama got all these great recruits out of Texas, and they're all coming into I think some of them might already be in school starting in January, and then all the rest will be coming in August. And a lot of these guys were recruited by Banks and Sarkisian and some of these other guys, maybe Coach Flood, that are now at Texas. But Saban, you still want to go to Alabama and play for Saban, but a lot of those kids committed to these guys that are now no longer there, and now at Texas at all places. So
it's like
kind of interesting.
What Sarkisian's his theme song or his motto is all gas, no brakes. And the University of Texas and the money that they have available, we're going to let you get the best coaches you can get. We're going to up their salary just a few more thousands of dollars, where they'll be the top special teams coordinator in the country, the top paid. He's going to make over $1 million a year as the special teams coordinator, and that's a valuable piece. So when you get the top running back coach in the country, who's a great recruiter, and those folks in Texas are probably going to start staying in Texas. They're going to go over to Louisiana. We get a lot of great players from Louisiana, and so does everyone else. So I think Texas will be a force in the future. And, of course, Alabama opens up with Miami in Atlanta next year. The following year, like September the 10th or somewhere in there, Alabama travels to Austin to play Texas in 2022. So that will be interesting to see. Another report of, the tight end from Alabama, Miller Forrestall, is hired an agent. And I saw where Najee Harris is going to the Senior Bowl. Saw that report that he's...
Yeah, it makes you want to... I'm seriously doubt these Alabama guys are going to play, but maybe some of them, just want to meet with coaches and meet with other executives and kind of, get their NFL career started by interviewing and stuff like that. That's the only thing I can think. Those guys get nothing out of playing, in my opinion.
Right.
Forstall's an interesting story. He got engaged to Philip Lunchenkerchen, the great Auburn tight end who, had the Harlem car accident and passed away. She was a soccer player at Alabama. And I just thought that was interesting. He was a good tight end in college, and her brother was a good tight end in college, and now they're engaged.
And why?
This guy went healthy, I think, to play in the NFL. He's got good hands, runs good routes, can block. He's a little injury prone, but I think he can make a roster.
And why did he move to tight end?
Yeah, you told that story.
He played with Trevor Lawrence at Cartersville.
Yeah.
And I think he made a good move. But I saw where the Auburn former wide receiver, Cody Burns, the former wide receiver coach at Auburn, Cody Burns, is going to the University of Central Florida. That's been reported. And Auburn's Eli.
Interesting right now is Troy's got 2 coaching positions open on offense. And Lindsey had all those ties to that Auburn staff, being the offense coordinator there under Malzahn. It seems like maybe some of those guys might wind up at Troy.
Right. Well, Eli Stove and Jordan Peters from Auburn, they're going to the Senior Bowl as well. And did you see where the Falcons, who they hired, the offense coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, Arthur Smith, and he's coached at North Carolina. He's coached for the Redskins. I believe he played guard at North Carolina, but had some ankle injuries and didn't play a whole lot. But he's also coached at Ole Miss and for the Tennessee Titans for the last 9 years in various positions. So he will be the new head coach for the Atlanta Falcons.
Do you think he can bring Derrick Henry to Atlanta?
I don't know, but he was
that might help because the Falcons have a running game.
Yeah, I read where he was the Offensive Player of the Year for the National Football League, according to one group that named him as the Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, I saw where the college that not the college, but the hospital. Phil Rivers retired, and we talked about that yesterday. It's going to be St. Michael School out of Fairhope, Alabama.
Right.
Where he's going to be coaching.
Yeah, they're the Cardinals.
They're 4A program down there. Have to play teams like Viger.
Yeah, they play. Here's their region, Michael. It's the 4A region. Region 1 out of 4A. They play Williamson, Viger, Mobile Christian, Jackson, W.S. Neal, and Escambia County. They started their program in 2017, and their overall record is 5-25. Scott Phelps was the first coach. Then Paul Nipstein filled in this past year. But their motto is scholars, leaders, and disciples of Jesus Christ. That's what their mission is at that particular school. And they are located in Fairhope, Alabama. And he has 9 children, ages 1 through 17. And there's 2 boys. One of them's 11 years old. One of them's 8 years old. But he's really excited about starting that endeavor. And he is a businessman. And one of the articles that I read, he converted a big RV bus and had him a driver, but he fixed it so on his way home from practice he could start viewing the film and study. So when he got home, he was a family man for his kids. And he's only like 37, 38 years old. And but that's going to be neat to watch the development of St. Michael's Catholic High School.
I'm sure he'll have a lot of help. His dad was a head coach, Steve Rivers, for years, and I'm sure that family will probably all be down there together, and his dad will probably be helping him out. But I mean, as a young kid, Fairhope, I mean, everybody tells you it's probably one of the greatest, most beautiful places to live in Alabama. So that's one thing that would attract the family down there. But to play for an NFL quarterback for 17 years,
and I bet you,
I want to play for him.
He will be. It's going to be a dynamic hire. I mean, that place is, and I think there's like 60 or 80 acres planned for that facility. They're fixing to build a brand new athletic facility, weight room with all the entities.
You think it's going to be named Philip Rivers Stadium? I imagine he's got a little money he could probably get to it. He made this year alone, I think he made $24 million just to play one season.
They say he's very frugal. One article that I read.
I mean, look at the coaching staffs that are developed down there. You got Phil Rivers at St. Michael's and Fairhope, and now in Gus Shores High School, you have a I mean, legit college coaching staff coaching at I don't even know what Gus Shores is, 6A school.
I think
Gus Shores has Mark Husta, who, head coach at Louisiana Lafayette, UNA, Austin Peay. Of course, had some off the field issues, but is a proven winner. And then you got Kenny Edenfield, that used to be a head hospital. Was a head, coach at high school down in Florida, and offense coordinator at Troy for about 8 or 9 years, and at South Alabama for another 3 or 4. And then you got Dick Koning, who'd been a defense coordinator at probably 4 or 5 Power 5 schools, and then of course was at Troy 2 different times, and was a head coach at Wyoming at one time. Yeah. I mean, that is just incredible to think you could play for coaches like that in high school.
Yeah. Well, let me slide step. How's your daddy?
He's good.
He's good. He's
in
Florida?
They got a Troy cable security system, and they got, a pit bull, and they've got a Rottweiler and a couple of Dobermans.
Yeah, I got bit one time by them.
And they decided to go to the coast, go to their other home down at the beach, get some of this beautiful salt air and sunlight. It's been real pretty down here this week. It's like 68 degrees, so they're going to be down here for a few days, and I think it'll be good for Dad to recover down here.
It's like I can remember my first experience with the beach. Daddy was stationed at Biloxi, Mississippi at Keesler Air Force Base, so we decided to go to the beach. And I'd never seen the beach as a little kid. I was probably 4 years old. And I can remember flying in that water and got flipped by a backwash, and I drank a little bit of salt water. I come out of that beach, I said, I'm ready to go home. But that was my first experience.
One thing I've learned about living at the beach, we're very blessed. We're all, 120 yards from the sand as we speak, and my little girls, it doesn't matter any time of year, they're going to end up in the water. It doesn't, we're just down there picking up shells or letting them run around. That water just brings little kids to it.
Right.
And you're talking about doing the polar bear plunge or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many snowbirds down here this time of year. Shoot, the sun comes out, it's 68 degrees. There's nothing to go out there and see people swimming.
In an article I read about real estate, people are just flocking to Florida. They're flocking to Lake Martin. All these, they're moving out of these big cities. They want OUT out, and they're flocking to try to find somewhere to live that's safe and stress-free.
No state income taxes. Yeah.
Right. And the
I will say, it is amazing in a day. I don't know. People know what I do down here, but I'm a wine rep, so I'll go to a lot of different restaurants and different establishments down here, and I have some high-end wine, so I meet a lot of people from all over. But it's amazing, like on a daily basis. It's Louisiana, it's Texas, tons of Georgia, tons of Tennessee, probably Tennessee more than anything. And then of course you've got all the snowbirds from Michigan and Wisconsin, and then you got Quebec and all the Canadian tags and stuff you see down here. But it's just so many transplants now from New York down here buying homes. It's everybody's trying to get out of those places, just like you said.
Yeah, well, Michael, one thing about COVID I wanted to bring up. Yesterday I joined and subscribed to the Troy Messenger online and to the Dothan Eagle so I could read articles. But the Alabama Health Office or officials are urging Governor Kay Ivey to extend the mask order that we have here in Alabama, and that we've had like 6,100 people who've passed away with COVID-related deaths, and 424 people have been infected by it. And I believe our mask order went into effect July the 15th, but the Pike County information that I read, that they have given 543 vaccines in Pike County to health.
They need to be doing twice that by now, I would hope.
As of January 20th, and those are to health care. We got a caller. Hang on. Good morning. Welcome to Today in L.A.
Hey,
Force. This is Bill.
Hey, Bill, let me put you on hold, and I'll bring you right back.
All right.
I lost you. Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Michael,
I got you.
can y'all hear each other?
Yeah, I heard Michael.
Great.
It's a Troy Cable miracle.
Whew.
It's
I
a
think
miracle.
it was operator error yesterday, I'm afraid. But anyway, we're talking about COVID.
About stress. Whenever I'm manning that phone and have to do that, I try to act like Fonzie, but I'm inside. I'm not.
Yeah. Well, what we're talking about, Bill, as of January 20th, Pike County has given 543 vaccines to healthcare officials and those people over 75 years of age. And in a 10-county area that it was reported in this article, 10 counties, 4,700 vaccines were given. So right now, only 543 in Pike County thus far.
Well, I know the population of Pike County is approximately 33,000, so 1% of that would be 330. 2% would be 660, so we're about at 1.5% of the population of Pike County has been vaccinated. And also, is that both doses or just the first dose?
First dose.
So it's the vaccine isn't supposed to be fully effective until you've received the second dose, which is typically 3 to 4 weeks after the first dose. Mm-hmm. And then after that, you're supposed to have 2 weeks. You have to wait until your body develops the antibodies. So it's probably, let's say, 6 weeks. By the time when you get your first vaccine, you're really going to have to wait 5 to 6 weeks until you can believe that you have protection from the virus.
All right, 2 questions. I know you're not a physician, but if you've had COVID before, or if you've had the flu vaccine, is there a waiting time before you take the first shot of COVID?
That's a good question. I don't know. I would. The studies I've read say that if you've had the virus, you're going to be naturally immune. You've acquired natural immunity that will probably last at least 8 months. Mm-hmm. Has to do with T cells and B cells. So I think the people that have had the virus in the last couple of months, I don't see why they need to be in any big rush to get the vaccine, because they're already basically protected. They have the best protection there is. Your body on immune system.
Yeah, I've heard stories, because you really have no long. I mean, some people say 4 months as far as the antibodies, but I have heard personally. I mean, I'm not going to name names, but I've had friends that have had the vaccine now, and they said they still had the antibodies, and that when they got the vaccine, it hit them harder than when they actually got COVID, because they had the antibodies. Like, and it was it was rough, is what they said. But I mean, I guess it's you got to make that decision. If you already had COVID, you think you have the antibodies, you're kind of taking a risk because you don't know for sure. I mean, I'll be honest, if you got the opportunity to take the vaccine, in my opinion. But, I mean, it's up to you.
Well, I've said it before, but I know of 2 people who are healthy as a horse in their mid-20s. It buckled them to their knees compared to what I went through. And it took them 2 or 3 weeks to get to feeling normal, and temperatures and just aches and hurting and
I'm going to tell y'all something
different.
I read last night that surprised me, and it jibes with an observation I've made. It said, I guess their facts are right, it said in a hospital in Los Angeles between, say, July and September, X% of the people who went into the hospital died of COVID. It was a small number. Mm-hmm. And then it said from November 9th through today, X% of the people who went into the hospital died of COVID, but the percentage of people who died was much higher.
Mm-hmm.
That leads me to believe that something has happened that makes these cases more severe. And I don't know what that something is.
I mean, I'm pretty sure.
But it is. It's just from personal experiences of local people, it seems to me that people are having more severe cases and even death than they did months ago.
Right.
The combination of COVID and pneumonia is a nightmare. I feel like if you have pneumonia and COVID, that's where you really have the serious cases, it seems like.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break. We have a special guest coming on, Matt Brown, the head basketball coach at Pike Liberal Arts School. But we're going to take a break. We'd like to thank our sponsors who are sponsoring this show today in L.A. with Mike Amos, especially Premier Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Troy, Alabama, Troy Bank and Trust, Burge Drugs, Cinco Drugs, Ponstalker 2, the Brundage Country Club, and many, many more. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Our history is woven with the stories of those we serve. At Max, we've been a good community partner for 65 years. Max is dedicated to providing dependable financial services and to supporting our communities. We volunteer our time and share our resources. As a credit union, we've returned millions of dollars back to our members, local nonprofits, and small businesses. Max is honored to be a part of your story. We look forward to serving you for years to come.
Hi, Sandy. I'm right here. Come on in.
Daddy, I'm right here. Miss Mary, I'm right here. Right here.
Since 1969, we've been right here because at Troy Regional Medical Center, we take these words to heart.
I'm right here.
Thank you. Remarkable people, remarkable care.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Today in L.A. I'm Forrest Lee, and on the phone we have Michael Amos calling from Grayton Beach, Florida, and Bill Rice Jr., who's across the way in the city of Troy, and we have a special guest, Mr. Matt Brown. He's the head basketball coach at Pike Liberal Arts School. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Coach.
Yes, sir. Hey, first of all, I wanted to ask you, if you will, give us a little bit of a brief background of your family and your high school, wherever you went to school.
Yes, sir. I'm originally from Troy, and I went to Charles Henderson High School. Graduated in 2002. I got to play middle school football under you, and I went from Charles Henderson to Shelton State Community College on a basketball scholarship, and came back to Troy as preferred walk-on, and finished out with an environmental science degree at Troy, and met my lovely wife Jennifer. She's working at Sisters there, and
that's one of our sponsors.
Yeah, we have that was one of my sponsors in college too. So I mean, I ate there about every day. So I mean, but no, she. So we have 3 kids. We have twin girls, Mary Clark and Maggie James, and a son. Both of them, all 3 of them go to Pike Lib.
How old are they?
The girls are 10, and Coggins is 8.
Okay, well, good. And your coaching experience, Matt, where did you start with basketball?
Well, we used to do a volunteer program when I was at Shelton through the local Upward Bound. Every player, 2 or 3 players, would get a team each. So we helped there. Actually, before I had kids, I coached in the Troy Rec Department for 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And then, a buddy of mine, Ross Hickson, called me and said that Coach Ponder was looking for an assistant coach and wanted to know if I'd be interested. And about 5 years ago, and I helped him for 4 years, and then when he moved on to Pike Road, I was given this opportunity, and I jumped on it.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Talking about basketball, let's talk about your team, what your record is, and your upcoming schedule. And congratulations, y'all have won the area championship.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And but let's talk about your upcoming schedule.
Okay.
And
well, right now as it stands, we're 13-2. We played a pretty good schedule. We started out the season. Our football team won a state championship. So actually, their last game was on a Friday night, and our first game was on a Monday. So we had.
You lost in overtime.
Yes, sir. We had a 2.5 hour practice, and then and have been able to so didn't get to pitch as much as we wanted to. So really, all year it's just been a big learning experience for everybody. For me, as going from an assistant to a head. But it's been a great ride so far. We got a good group of kids who are young men who are really who are just really talented, very athletic. So we actually have 3 games coming up next week. We'll play Daleville Christian on Monday. We'll play Heritage Christian out of Birmingham on Tuesday, and then we'll play finish our regular season out against Otago Academy on Friday.
Are all those at home?
All 3 games are home.
So Monday, Tuesday, and Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then after that,
I used to live in Birmingham. Where is Heritage Christian now?
It's out near Homewood, is what my understanding. I never heard of them until they were on our schedule. So yeah, my understanding
is that a new private school? I've never heard of that either.
I'm not sure. I don't know. Like I said, I'd never heard of them until I saw them on our schedule. I looked them up, and it says somewhere out there in Homewood, I think is what it says.
So Matt, I missed the conversation. I guess when y'all started, who did you play for in high school? Did you play for Hollis?
Yes, sir. I did.
Okay. What was Coach Hollis like to play for?
Very interesting. How about that? No, Coach Hollis is great. I still talk to Coach Hollis at least once or twice a week. I have for years. Coach Hollis is a great person. At the time in high school, I didn't really understand a lot of the stuff he was trying to teach us, but now it makes a lot of sense. As a matter of fact, I see a lot of myself and him, or him and me, I guess. Coach Hollis he was very, no nonsense. What he said, he meant. He cared about his players, and he wanted to make sure that we were, good and tired where we couldn't get in trouble after the practice. So he didn't mind keeping us a little bit longer and running us a little bit more than some of us thought were necessary. But hey, it made us all stronger, and but can't say enough good things about that guy. I love that guy.
What about the playoffs? How and when will that start? How's that set up?
Well, since we won the area, we got an automatic bid into the Elite Eight, which is all played in Montgomery at I can't remember what that gym is, but every other team, the top 4 teams, or basically the champion from each area has to go to gets an automatic bid in the Elite Eight, and everybody else plays playing games to get into that Elite Eight. Yes, sir.
Okay. The Elite Eight of 3A.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then there's the Elite Eight of 2A.
Yes, sir. And
the Elite Eight of
1A.
1A. Is that going to be in Huntington, or will it be at downtown Montgomery?
Yes.
Crampton Bowl?
Crampton Bowl is what it is. Yeah, I can't think of
they'll make an arena there at Crampton Bowl.
What do they call that? A crossplex?
Multiplex, I believe it's called a multiplex.
That's
right there adjacent to Crampton Bowl. Beautiful facility. That's where the archery championships are held everywhere. Every year as well, and I believe a lot of volleyball playoffs and championships were there as well. And
so I guess the team to beat, y'all played them last year. I guess the state championship game is Tuscaloosa Academy. They're coached by Barry Sanderson. I know Barry pretty well. I used to work with him in Tuscaloosa. They're a team that's I guess got the majority of their players back from last year.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I'm
sorry. We've already actually played TA this year. That was one of the things that going into the season was a big thing for us. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we got beat in the Elite Eight, and 2 years ago we made the Final Four. And then last year we made the state championship game, lost to them in a very close game. It got away from us about the last 4 minutes of the game, but we actually scheduled to play them, and they beat us at their place by 4. We come up, they jumped down as 19-2, and we were we never could get out of the hole after that. But no, yeah, they're a very good team, very fundamental team. And you know, and I'd like to think, I guess, yeah, they're defending champs. They're the number one ranked team in the state right now. So yeah, they probably are a team to beat.
Matt, who's on your coaching staff there?
I got Billy Jeffcoat, who I actually was very proud to lower out of retirement. When I found out the Jeffcoats were coming to Pike, the first thing I did is I went to Billy and asked him if he'd help me coach, and he told me no, that none of his kids play basketball, and that, and he wasn't going to push them toward that. And then one day this summer, when we put out the list to have the open tryouts, then Payne Jeffcoat showed up on there, and I got a phone call from Billy that afternoon.
Payne is getting tall.
Yes,
How tall is Payne?
Payne is probably just a shade under 6'4".
Good gracious!
And he's
a sophomore.
And he's a freshman.
Freshman.
And Payne came in, and I mean, I hate to say didn't have a lot of expectations for him, but Payne's actually become a very, very big part of our team this year. He's seen a lot of minutes.
Okay. Besides Billy, who's on your?
I got Charlie Schofield, who's also the B team coach, and then I have Coach Laura Lee Jones, who's the JV girls coach as well.
Okay.
So
don't you have a real young coach on your staff?
Oh yeah, well I have two guys who come that it's Patrick O'Brien. He played for me at Pike, and then Ethan Green's the other one, and he played for me at Pike.
Isn't there
as well.
one that's about 8 or 9 years old?
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. My head assistant is Coggins Brown. He's always gone with me for the last 3 or 4 years.
Doesn't he give him a speech at practice?
He blows the whistle and yells at practice. He likes to give him a halftime speech, and he likes to go out there before the game and shake the other players' hands and coaches' hands and everything else. So I mean, he loves it. Yeah.
Now, let's talk about your.
Billy Jeffcoat. Back to Billy though. I mean, my goodness. I mean, he coached for Maestri and Felix for 15 years maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was a head coach at a junior college in Mississippi. So you couldn't ask for a better guy to be helping you out.
No, not at all. That's what I tell everybody all the time. Billy's actually the one was my recruiter when I came back to Troy. So I mean, I've known Billy for a long time, but I always say, it ain't about being the smartest guy in the room, but you want the best around you, and it don't get much better than Billy. I'll say that.
Right. What about your players, Matt? Let's talk about your roster and some of your players.
Yeah, we had a really good group coming back from that team that got beat in the state championship game last year. We had 4 returning starters: Drew Nelson. We had Javon Christian.
He's lefty, isn't he?
Yes, lefty, and he's a very good baseball player. He's already committed to play at Auburn.
Right.
And you got Javon Christian and Jeffrey Knotts and who's the other one? Austin Cross. How could I forget him?
Okay.
Yeah, the coach from Troy son. How could you forget him?
He's a sophomore, right?
He's a sophomore.
How tall
sir.
is he now?
He's probably about 6'3" now.
6'3".
Yeah, he hit a little growth spurt, and he's actually put about 20 pounds on. Looks like he's got a little muscle on him now. So.
He's very fundamentally sound.
Yes, very very fundamentally sound.
We might have to cut Rice's kids off. I can't hear. You got kids in the background.
You're right. Let me walk into another room.
That's Bill Rice. His children playing in the background.
Okay.
Right, you got those 4.
I can't imagine you got Scott Cross's son, the Troy current coach, and then you got Billy Jeffcoat as one of your assistants.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's it like having to coach a college head coach's son? Is that intimidating or is that tough? Or
no. If you've ever met Coach Cross, that's not intimidating at all. Actually, he's been a great resource for us for a couple of years. Actually, we talked to him. Actually, a couple of plays we run, he diagrammed up for me. I've been able to go to him and sit down and talk with him a lot. He's always open door, answering any question for you. He never pushed out there on anything with us. He's always very supportive of everything we've done. I have leaned on him, what would you like for me to be working on Austin with? But other than that, he normally just kind of stands back and lets us do our thing.
Austin is probably a great quarterback on the court. I mean, he's so. I saw him play last year as a freshman, and his court awareness and his psyche is just phenomenal. Mm-hmm. What about some of your other players, man?
Yeah, we had several guys coming back. We had Trey Holmes came back, is a junior who's getting some playing time now. Avery Ernsberger is getting a good bit of playing time. Peyton Jacobs, John Norman Dean, or Bubba, as everybody calls him.
Bubba Dean.
Yeah, Bubba Dean. Mean Bubba Dean, as we call him. And then we have we've had a couple of new players. We've got Mario Davenport and Jay Taylor, who Jay's our fifth starter right now, and have been great additions to the program.
Well, great. And your next game will be Monday night. What is the schedule like Monday? How many games will be played Monday, and what time does the first game start with the basketball program?
We'll play 4 games. We'll have the JV girls, JV boys, then varsity girls, varsity boys. All those games start at 4, and they're scheduled for an hour after. But they normally, once the game's over, they'll put 10 or 12 minutes on the clock, and then we'll play right after that. So it can go earlier, it can go later. So
I got you. Now what?
Have you been teed up yet this season?
No, actually, that's actually my pride and joy so far is that Coach Ponder and I had a little side bet that I would be my over/under was 6 technicals this year, and I've not been teed up yet. I've earned a couple of them. They haven't given them to me yet, but no, I tell you, when you got a group like we got, it's not. It don't take a lot to get. I mean, I don't have to get fired up a whole lot. These guys,
Right. That's great.
Yeah, you and Billy Jeffcoat have to make up the tallest coaching staff in high school basketball. You're 6'8", he's about 6'7".
Mm-hmm.
Are you 6'8"?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and so you throw whenever Ethan and them are there. Ethan Green is 6'5", and Patrick O'Brien is 6'4". So I said, we probably got the only coaching staff in the state that could beat their basketball team 5-on-5 probably.
I got a question for you.
Of course, your brother was the real athlete in the family. He played college football at Southern Miss. Whatever happened to your brother? Where's he at now?
I don't know if you really define him as a great athlete by no means, but he definitely.
I mean, Division I football player is pretty good.
Yeah, that's right. Micah is actually living in Dothan, and he's an office manager. I told Coach Lee yesterday I couldn't remember the name of the business, but he's got 2 children, so I mean he's doing really well.
I'll tell you a story about his brother. He and Kyle Barnett played side by side on the offensive line, and Chris Rhodes broke a touchdown run, and Micah and Kyle Barnett was so excited running down the field together, and they were so clumsy. They tripped over one another and knocked a player down from the opposing team, and Chris was 40 yards above, almost at the goal line. They called it back for clipping. I said, he didn't clip him, he tripped. But that was a true.
Yeah.
Bill, let's see. I'm going to put you on hold. Welcome to Today in L.A. This is Forrest. We lost him. Let's see. Welcome back to Today in L.A. Who do we have?
Well, yeah, Bill, do you have another guest? I can hop off if I need to.
Michael.
No, it's just us.
We had a third call, but anyway, so we're back with Matt Brown. He's the head basketball coach at Pike Liberal Arts, and congratulations on your season. I wanted to ask you a personal question. Your dad, Bobby, and I played graduated from Goshen together. When was the first time, or have you ever beat him in the game of basketball?
Yes, Kim. The answer is no. But probably I don't know, probably a sophomore in high school. I probably started being able to get him, but that was because I was just got a little faster than he was at that time. So,
yeah, he was a real good basketball player. And let's try it again. We'll put you on hold. Welcome to Today in L.A. This is Forrest.
Hey, Forrest, Will Matthews in Ozark. How you doing?
Hey, Mr. Will. I'm going to put you on hold, and I'll bring you right back.
All right.
One of them's got to drop off. Let's see. I hope I don't lose all of them. Good morning. This is Will again. Let's see. We got 3 callers. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it. Hang on, Mr. Will.
All right.
Hey, Bill?
Yeah.
Hey, Will Matthews is calling. I'm going to pick him up then, okay?
Okay. Well, listen, I'll hop off and
okay.
Good luck to Coach Brown and the Patriots.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right.
Hey, just get Will to call back. We're doing an interview. We don't have to have Will call in.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Hey, Will.
Yeah.
Hey, can you call back in about 10 or 15 minutes? We got a guest on the show, and we got lines tied up. And just call us back if you can. All right, thank you.
It might be tomorrow, but that's fine.
All right, sorry, Will. We're back on Today in L.A. With Matt Brown, the head basketball coach at Pike Liberal Arts. And Matt, let me ask you this: what about your the Pike Liberal Arts girls? Who's their coach, and how's their season going?
Their coach is Brandon Matthews. Their season's going fairly well. They've had some heartbreaking losses this season. They've been up a few points, and then I think at Tuscaloosa Academy they hit a buzzer beater to beat them. I believe they're 4-6, but they're a lot better than their record shows.
Right.
So I mean they're doing pretty good so far.
Well, what about your you said that Charlie Schofield's your JV coach.
Mm-hmm.
What about some of those players? How many is on that team? Are they progressing pretty good?
Yeah. That was one of the big things that when we took over that we wanted to make sure that we kept that continuity coming from the JV to the varsity.
Okay.
And Charlie comes to every practice. He's on the bench with us during the game, so he kind of pick up some of the stuff we're doing. Mm-hmm. And they're progressing nicely. You got some good players on that team. You got Parker Adams, Slade Renfro, Rhodes Baker. I mean, they're all just really good players on that team. But I think they'll be okay once they get to the varsity. He's doing a great job developing them.
One aspect.
My big question in high school basketball: Are y'all ever going to have a shot clock?
No.
What do y'all do at the end of the game? Y'all just dribble the ball out if y'all have a lead?
Yeah, you can. That's one thing I try to explain to our players a lot is that we seem to get in a hurry for no reason. I tell them the only shot clock you see starts at 8 minutes at the beginning of the quarter. So I mean, there's no point in thinking you got to get a shot up right off the bat. But I would like to see a shot clock. I'd like maybe NBA is 24, college is 30. I'd like to see maybe a 40 seconds maybe. I mean, just to keep it from.
I agree with that, man. I would much rather have a shot clock and watch teams try to dribble it out at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
basically you just got to foul, put them to the line, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it gets a little more difficult then. Actually, I remember when I was in high school. Was it Pleasant Home beat Andalusia 4-3 in a basketball game one time.
They held the ball.
It was. I got the opening tip, scored, got a steal. Or Andalusia got the opening tip, they missed. Pleasant Home scored, and they stalled out the rest of the quarter. They got the ball back to start the second quarter, stalled out the rest of the half, and
forward. I can remember Brantley High School was like the defending state champion. I believe Wesley Person was on that team. They went to the region where you got the number 4 team played the number 1 team, and you had to win that game to advance to the region finals. And then the region winner and loser both made it to the next round. Well, I believe Pleasant Home beat Brantley like 19-18 and upset them for doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. They stalled and beat the number 1 team in the state. Brantley never did go to the next round because they lost in the region playoffs to the number 4 team, and that's how they beat them. Mm-hmm. Just doing that same technique.
Yeah, I think a 40-second would be nice. I mean, at least to maybe speed up the play a little bit, but.
Have you had a lot of difficulties with schedule changes this year?
Absolutely. I believe that.
So your record's 15-3.
It's 13-2.
13-2.
Okay. But we've probably had 7 or 8 games canceled altogether. We've had to move them around. We've had a stretch where we'll go 8 or 10 days without playing, and then we'll play 4 games in a week.
Right.
So I mean.
I know. How many teams y'all played already twice?
We played all our area teams twice, and we played Crenshaw Christian twice, and that's pretty much it. I mean,
who are the teams in your area?
Success Unlimited and Valiant Cross.
Okay.
They're both out of Montgomery.
Out of Montgomery.
Yes.
Okay.
We talk about it all the time. I mean, of course, nothing's official, so I mean, you don't have to say anything yes or no. But Pike Liberal Arts eventually, I think, will go play a public school schedule. I mean, what's your opinion if that does happen? We don't know if it is going to happen, but if it does, would you be happy with that?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I've said for a long time, I think that if Pike were to make that jump, they probably end up in the 2 or 3A area. You know, you got a lot of teams built in around here. You got Laverne, you got Goshen, you got, you know, who else? Pike County, right? Yeah, right. Zion Chapel. Yeah, you got several. Red Level. I mean, you wouldn't have to go an hour, and you could have 10 teams to play. So I mean, that would be great if that ever did happen. But like I said, I'm not sure that any of that stuff is in the works. I tell everybody all the time that's
above your.
Yeah, well, it's benefit. I don't actually work at the school. Right. I work for Golden Boy, so I don't.
Providence Christian, they went to the Alabama High School Athletic Association, and I read an article in the Dothan Eagle. The one reason they did that, automatically it gave them 12 or 14 schools that they could play within a 40 to 50 mile radius, rather than going all the way to Auburn or to play Lee Scott, play Tuscaloosa, to go to Birmingham. I mean, it just saved them, and they had more teams to choose from. And it's going to take them a while to adapt, probably, in some sports. In some sports, they'll dominate, or not dominate, but be very competitive in. And same thing, I think, would happen if Pike Liberal Arts decided to do that, because there's just not that many schools
to play anymore.
That they used to play.
Yeah, Northside Methodist was in our area last year. Northside left and went. This is their first year in Alabama High School, and they my understanding it's so hot in football, but they basketball, I think they're a little below 500, but they got a pretty good baseball program, I think. I think the same thing will happen with us. It would just take some time to adapt.
It might have been Northwest Methodist that I meant to say, but it was both of those schools has benefited. But anyway,
how's Bessemer Academy, like Escambia Academy, and all those, Glenwood, are those programs pretty good in basketball?
Yes. Glenwood is it's basically Glenwood and Tuscaloosa. The last probably 10 years have been, I guess, what you call the gold standard. Bessemer won a state championship a couple years ago. But outside of that, I think Tuscaloosa Academy has been in the state championship game every year for the last 6 years. So I mean. But yes, Glenwood is a very good basketball team. We played them earlier this year. They were ranked number 1 in the state at the time. We went up there and played a very fast, physical game, and beat them by, I think it would be by 15 at their place. And but they're a very good team. Bessemer's a good team. Bessemer's probably who I anticipate we'll see in the Elite Eight. They got to play a couple playing games to get there, but I don't know enough about the other teams to talk about them. Escambia, I've never seen anything on Escambia basketball before. So
who's the kid that walked on for Pike Liberal Arts at Troy this year? Nick O'Brien?
Yeah, Nick O'Brien. Nick O'Brien,
What kind of player was he in high school?
He was one of the ones that he brought his lunch pail every day. I used to tell everybody, if I could get 10 Nick O'Briens, we could probably beat Troy University. I mean, that kid, he was not the most athletic kid on earth, but he could. I mean, he knocked the shots down. He played good defense. He rebounded, and he was going to do his best to get a charge. I think that's what attracted Coach Cross to him. Nick, I think, averaged 3 charges a game in high school. So I mean, he definitely was willing to put his body on the line for his team. So I mean, he was a great kid to have.
And Golden Boy, that's the peanut butter place in Troy?
Yes, sir.
And the owner's a big Auburn fan, isn't he?
I don't know that one now.
No, Robert's a huge Georgia fan.
Right. Robert's a big Georgia fan. Yeah.
Okay.
I hate to even tell this on a live television show, but I actually have known Matt since I guess was living in Troy at the time. I knew Bobby all my life. And Andrew Williams, you were best of friends.
Yeah, that's right.
And Andrew Williams and Matt and Eric Mitchell wanted somebody to chaperone them at the beach. I guess y'all senior year in high school. And the guy that chaperoned them was Michael Amos, the guy on the phone there.
Oh my!
On Zoom. I actually chaperoned them at the beach.
Yeah.
And
the best chaperone ever.
Back to that time, and I can't believe I was the most irresponsible person probably in the world even then. I'm so glad nothing ever happened to you guys.
Yeah. Why do you think we picked you?
That scared me to death thinking about it years later. Now being a parent, having 2 little girls.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Now, Eric, he's teaching and coaching golf somewhere in Georgia.
Yeah, LaGrange over there. Yeah,
LaGrange. Yeah, I knew he was in LaGrange, and I taught there for a while. But he's somewhere in a school system over there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's in Coweta County or Troup County, but anyway, he was at Callaway High School maybe at one time. But anyway, I can remember those days. That my first year at Charles Henderson Middle School, Matt was an 8th grader, and we had Gary Little that played football for us, and Andrew got hurt. I think the first game of the year, hurt his knee. He just buckled it, and anyway, but that was.
He's one of the only kids I've ever heard of that had a major knee injury in middle school. I mean, that was a freakish injury.
Yeah, that affected him the rest of his playing career and his life. I mean, he's he had that brace, and I think he had nerve damage and stuff down below that, and that's
looking back on that play, I can remember the play, and looking back on it at film, it just kind of buckled. It wasn't a vicious hit or nothing like that.
Happened.
And but it was kind of like the Andrews injury that running back at Auburn had that same type of injury. But but that was.
So when did the playoffs start? Y'all already started?
No, we finish our regular season next week, and then our the Elite 8 will start February 8th. So we have about a 10-day layoff, which I'm not crazy about. You like the opportunity to be the number 1 seed and get a bye and playing automatically in the Elite 8. But I'd be honest with you, I'd rather play a play-in games not to lose.
Are y'all not allowed to play in that?
No, sir. No. Once that's over, then yeah.
Plus, that gives you a time to make sure everybody's healthy and that kind of stuff. Well, listen, Matt, I'm
curious. Do y'all like man-to-man? You prep? I mean, what kind of offense and defense do you run?
Well, we run on defense. We run a modified 1-1-3. It's actually what Troy used to run. I always kind of make the joke that Billy Jeffcoat's our defensive coordinator. I'm the offensive coordinator. That defense Billy brought in and put in for us. Offensively, it depends on the other team. We've always been very athletic since we've been there, and we realize that we got a lot of football and baseball players that just happen to be playing basketball. So the basketball IQ is not through the roof by no means. So we pretty much put one offense in that we can run against zone or man, and we play off of it a little bit. It's the old read and react. The dream team ran in 1992. Me and Coach Ponder found it, and we're talking about it, and he liked it, so I put it in, and that's what we've run for 2 years now.
How are y'all doing at the free throw line?
Free throw line's a lot better than we have been. For me and Coach Ponder, jokingly used to talk about how just we were the worst shooting free throw team in America, probably. We probably didn't shoot 60% in the last 4 years, so we changed up a little bit this year, and we seem to be shooting a lot better this year. We're about 75%, which is.
I know one thing
that's really good.
Your gymnasium has just taken a complete overhaul. Is absolutely beautiful. It's hardwood floor now.
Yes, sir.
And but it's a revamped gym. The whole campus is beautiful.
Yes, sir.
And it's just picking up. And
they ever put a air conditioner in that gym?
Yeah, they did. They got air conditioning. We got one of those really big fans in there too now. So I mean, it's not the hot box no more, or the oven they called it. Yeah, it's definitely not. I mean, the first couple of years I was here, between that floor and that heater running, we had to cancel a couple of games because the floor was sweating so bad. But
Mike Amos always asked, he never sees people use the glass anymore. Do you guys shoot off the glass?
Oh, well, if it was up to me, yes. I have the same complaint a lot. I said it once, said 1,000 times. There's a big piece of glass up there for a reason. I'll even stop practice sometimes, see a guy miss a layup because he won't throw off the glass. I'll take the ball and throw it off there. I say, yep, it's still there. I mean, it's just one of those things. Everybody wants to look cool. But I always say scoring looks cooler than missing layups. So,
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Matt, we're going to let you get back to work and all, but we certainly would like to thank you for coming on today in L.A. and wish you the best of luck and success. You got your next game's Monday night.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
Then you play Monday, Tuesday, and Friday of next week at Pike Liberal Arts Gym. First game will tip off around 4 o'clock with your JV girls, then your JV boys, then the varsity girls, and then the
varsity boys. Yes,
varsity
sir.
boys. Well, thank you for joining us.
Yes,
and
sir.
we appreciate you coming on the show. And have
Good luck to y'all, man.
Yes, sir.
have
I
a good
appreciate
day.
it.
And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go off the air for just a few minutes. We'd like to thank our sponsors. Go to Sister's Restaurant this afternoon and have you a good lunch. They open up at 10:30 now. That's the new hours. I saw that yesterday, a couple of days ago. But we'll be back in just a few minutes. And we'll be back in just a few minutes here on Today in L.A. Well, we haven't gone to commercial yet, so... But anyway, Matt...
Steve up there in the box?
He must be on... Anyway, but we're good for right now. What else is on the agenda? I hope you have a great weekend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
of course, we got we had college ball last night. Auburn was playing Arkansas. I don't know. Did you get any of those scores today? Of course, SEC scores.
I did not. I surely did not. I don't know what they did in basketball, but I know Kentucky's in a spiral. They're 3-3 in the conference, and they have a losing record, and they may not make the NCAA tournament. But anyway,
then Alabama's got the best team they've had in, I don't know, 20 years.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you were out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Go back. We're welcome back to our show, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Today in L.A. I'm Forrest Lee, and we have on the phone with us Michael calling from Grayton Beach, Florida. And I'd like to say that his dad, Mike, is recovering nicely day by day, and wish him the best. And
he's improved a lot, and thanks for everybody praying for him and thinking about him, and it's one of those things that we hope this surgery is going to help him in the long run. So we're definitely excited to see what happens.
Right. It's just day by day, and we have there's several people that I know, some friends around the community that are that have COVID, and we hope that they continue to get better. And there's some other issues going on with some of our friends. Our prayers and thoughts are with y'all, and just know that we're thinking about you and we love you. And Troy,
I tell you, Matt Brown was very impressive. I hadn't talked to him in years. He used to work up at Wally Sanders, one of my best friends, John Reeves, and he worked with John for several years, and I'd see him up there from time to time, but probably hadn't talked to him in years. But he's an impressive young coach. Of course, when you got Billy Jeffcoat on staff and you got Coach Cross helping you out, I mean, pretty amazing the amount of basketball knowledge that is around him at all times.
Yeah, I haven't met his wife, maybe a long time ago, but his kids are just phenomenal. I remember going to a basketball game last year at Pike Liberal Arts, and his daughters were just all over the place, stealing the show. And his son Coggins, it's neat to know that he's at every practice and he gives pep talks to the players and all like that. It's like having your family with you all day long, and those are memories he'll have forever. But in men's basketball for Troy University, their record is 6-7 overall, with a 1-3 conference record. They will play at Coastal Carolina this Friday at 5 and Saturday at 2. The women will host Coastal Carolina this Friday at 6 o'clock, and then again on Saturday at 4 p.m. And the women's record is 7-4 with a conference record of 3-1. So try to go to support the Lady Trojans this weekend. And again, Michael,
I'll tell you, Coach Rigby has done an unbelievable job with that women's program in Troy.
How long has she been here? Do you know right offhand? It's been 5 years, 7?
I'd say at least 8 now, maybe.
Right.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. And, her husband coached at Elba. Now he's at Eufaula High School doing real well. And, again, Charles Henderson and Troy City Schools, they're playing their games and all that, but Pike County Schools are on temporarily hold until the 1st of February. Both school systems are under a virtual learning pattern. No kids are on campus at this time, but Pike County Schools have temporarily halted their extracurricular activities until the COVID issue is kind of under wraps or gets under control a little bit. And
I was looking at ESPN.com just then, and Ryan McGee, who's a good writer, has got the all-Saban team, the best football players Nick Saban has ever coached. An interesting list, to say the least. Quarterback, of course, is Tua Tagovailoa. Of course, Saban's had some other good quarterbacks in Alabama. Wide receivers, they couldn't pick one. They picked Devontae Smith, Julio Jones, and Amari Cooper. Those are pretty good, aren't they?
Well, look what they probably could pick 4 or 5 more to join that group.
And then running back was so crazy too. They picked Derrick Henry, but just think of all the other great running backs. Mark Ingram, Trent Richardson, Eddie Lacy. Tight end, they picked O.J. Howard. Offensive tackle, they picked Andre Smith, Alex Leatherwood. Andre Smith only played for Saban 1 year. Offensive guard, Chance Warmack, Barrett Jones. Barrett Jones is probably the greatest offensive lineman probably maybe in Alabama history. And then center was Ryan Kelly, who still starts for the Colts. Defensive line, it's just amazing. Jonathan Allen, Quentin Williams, and then I guess they're adding LSU teams too. Marcus Spears. And then linebacker C.J. Mosley, Dante Hightower, Rolando McClain, Reuben Foster. It's just unbelievable when you look at these names. The best quarterback ever to play at Alabama under Saban, Mika Fitzpatrick, Drake Kirkpatrick, safety Mark Barron, Landon Collins, and then special teams is a guy that played at Michigan State I've never even heard of, Paul Edinger. And the best punter was J.K. Scott, kick returner. I saw this guy many a times. He was phenomenal. Javier Arenas. So that's the all-time Saban team. There was only 2 other guys from Michigan State and LSU that even made the list.
Wow. Hey, another article that I read, the hardest colleges hit by early entries to the National Football League. The hardest hit. Number 1 is Penn State. Stanford is number 2. Georgia is 3, hardest hit, followed by Texas, Southern Cal at 5, South Carolina at 6, Alabama at 7, Miami at 8, LSU at 9, BYU at 10. And of all those schools,
Stanford makes no sense. That's very strange.
They said they're the hardest hit.
Was that great education? Wow, that's hard to believe.
Early entries, but it's the January, your signees, a lot of your signees are in school who are going to get a jump start for next year, and there was also a report of the top 10 prospects for colleges who have yet to commit. And Tennessee's top recruit wants to be released from his letter of intent that he signed. And
the kid from Alabama, yeah.
I believe he's the linebacker from Hanley High School, or like 6'5".
Yeah, Dylan Brooks, I think is his name, maybe.
Yeah, but it's, who knows?
I mean, you got to let these kids out. If they went ahead and committed in December, they've changed coaching staff, they got rid of the athletic director, fired the coach. Surely they're going to let them choose another school here in February, I would hope.
Well, those top 10 recruits that I read, it's all the big colleges are on the list who they may go to. Now, one school that has been added to a lot of those players' names is Auburn. You think about Auburn, it's got their full staff just about in place, big names. Those guys are going after those top 10 kids and some of the transfers. But I looked at Tennessee's transfer portal. They've got about 20 kids they've lost since like the 1st of February. Well, you can look at see who they've already committed to. There's hardly any Southeastern Conference schools that those players have committed to. Now, the 4 yesterday might be a little bit different because you got 2 stud linebackers, a top lineman, and their top running back who have entered the transfer portal. So there's no telling where they may go. So it's like you got to have a war room to determine what your needs are, what's available, next year's recruits. Here are some coaches over here that if we lose this coach, I mean, it's like no day is the same.
Auburn needs a lot of offensive linemen and a lot of defensive linemen.
That's right.
They're pretty good at running back. They need some wide receivers. They've had wide receivers leave. They need a lot. Alabama's going to be really interesting. Does Alabama go try to get that great linebacker from Tennessee that's now in the portal? These guys will have to sit out. These guys can go play immediately anyway.
They'll play immediately. Well, that's the number.
So that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. I feel like Alabama defensive line's really still pretty strong. Offensive line, you might could add 1 or 2. I still feel like they need a backup proven quarterback, a guy that can come in and push Bryce Young. And then running back, I feel like they're pretty good. If Trey Sanders comes back healthy. Secondary, you're going to lose some guys, but I tell you, Alabama should be really good on defense next year. A lot better than this year.
Did the South Carolina quarterback, isn't he transferring to Northwestern?
Yeah, Hollis.
Yeah.
He was a starter and then got beat out and transferred to Northwestern. I tell you what, man, that Pat Fitzgerald at Northwestern's a great coach. I don't blame any of these kids going to go play there. And it's a great education.
Right. Vanderbilt made a hire on their coaching staff. I had to go back and look to see who that was. But
Troy coach said, Chip Lindsey said, and this was weeks ago now, that every single one of the seniors they talked to off Troy's roster, offensively and defensively, acted like they want to come back, which is really amazing if that happens. I don't know if that will be the case or not, but I don't know how Troy offensively would not be one of the best teams they've had on the field in years, and they got a quarterback coming in that was at Missouri, that was Arkansas Player of the Year, that probably will win the quarterback job, I would think, or he wouldn't have signed with Troy. It's going to be really interesting to watch this next year.
Well, you look at their wide receivers coach that just left going to Auburn. Wide receivers is one of Troy's most important positions. You got to hire the right guy.
That's right, yeah. Does Geiger go to Auburn? Does McClain go to Auburn? Reggie Todd want to go to Auburn?
Who knows? Most of it's just up in the air, and it's not long before spring training starts, and it'd probably be a modified spring, maybe. Who knows how that will go? But it's interesting to sit back and watch. No day is new. It's like when I usually in the afternoon, late afternoon, I'll get on a couple of either ESPN or CBS Sports or Alabama.com, and I'll just look to see, hey, what has happened in the last 10 hours since I was on the computer last, and it's like so many news break, just college football. But in the National Football League, we talked a little bit about that yesterday, Michael. On Sunday, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will travel to Green Bay to play the Packers on Fox TV. That's supposed to be around the 3 o'clock hour. It may be 2 o'clock Central. I'm not real sure. Who do you like in that game, Michael? The Bucs or the Packs?
Yeah, I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan, but I like Brady more than I like Aaron Rodgers. So I'll probably pull for Tampa Bay.
Weather is going to be a factor.
It's going to be hard to win at Lambeau. It's going to be snowing, but Brady can play in the cold weather. For some crazy reason, I feel like Tampa Bay's going to beat them. I don't know why.
Well, then at around 6:40, the Buffalo Bills travel to the Kansas City Chiefs, and that game will be on CBS. And the question of the day is, will Patrick Mahomes be 100%, or will he be cleared?
He's going to play. I was looking at information on that yesterday, reading up on it. And he's practicing, so he's going to play.
So that will be another. Both, I think, games are going to be, the weather conditions will not be ideal at either place, but I love to watch an outdoor football game when weather is a factor.
Dad's one of the few people I know that's been to a game at Lambeau. I know him and Johnny Williams went to a Packers game.
Wow.
That's definitely on my bucket list. I would love to do that one day.
In September or in January?
I don't know. I think they did it when it was really cold, from what I remember. They did it when Troy was playing, I think, Wisconsin several years ago up there.
Right.
Might have been Neil Brown's first season. Maybe they went up there.
Mm-hmm. I hope Neil and them have a good year at West Virginia.
I'll tell you what, man, he's doing a good job recruiting. They're getting a lot of transfers in as well. I was really happy to see how great Jordan Leslie did, taking over for Dick Coney, the defense coordinator, last year. West Virginia had one of the best defenses in the country. They lost so many close games. Only game they really got blown out was Iowa State. But I'm a big fan of Neil Brown, man. If you listen to him on the interviews and, what he accomplished at Troy, Troy needs to build a statue for him one day. The guy won 10 games, 11 games, and 10 games. Those are numbers that I've never even come close to since we've been Division I.
Right. The Senior Bowl's adding players each day, like you said before, whether or not they're going to play or they're going down there for the interview. But, it's in the past, it would be nice to know you could go down there one day and just watch, just sit up in the stands and just see what's going on as far as a practice is concerned, how big those guys are, how fast those guys are. You got a lot of local talent that's from the state that's going in there. Just to witness that would be phenomenal, and you cannot even go to the game. According to the report I had, that stadium, I think, will allow like 5,500 people in during the regular season. When your dad and I went, there might have been 30, maybe 3,000 people there. But there's no tickets.
That had to be Troy's game of the year when they played South Alabama down there. That's by far their best game that I witnessed.
Right.
They just played lights out in that game.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess maybe that and the Middle Tennessee State game to start the season. People talk about it all the time. Troy losing to Middle Tennessee State at Troy, and it's still shocking. You beat a team. I don't know, what did Troy win? 47-14, and then you get beat at home 20-17. But when it's all said and done, that game meant nothing as far as Troy getting into a bowl game.
Right.
The bowl records, which we didn't even talk about at the start of the season, they had 5 spots the Sun Belt allowed for bowls. And when Troy lost to Coastal, that was it, because they had already lost to Georgia State and Georgia Southern. But those teams were going to get the spots, so it didn't matter if Troy played La Monroe at the very end either. Even if they finished 6-6, they wouldn't go in the bowl.
Mike, has the Sun Belt Conference released their Player of the Year and their all-conference team yet? I haven't seen a report on that.
I think the Player of the Year was Grayson McCall, the quarterback at Coastal.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, I'll try to look and see what players from Troy University made it on that conference.
Yeah, they had the first 3 or 4 guys make first team, I know.
Right. Probably the linebacker was one of them, but...
oh, yeah, Carlton Marshall was definitely on there.
Yeah,
what do you do? I mean, what do you do with Carlton Marshall? I mean, don't you think every single college coach, I mean, I know Chip Lindsey doesn't want to hear this, every college coach in the country probably wants him to transfer, and come play for their program. And does he want to compete at the highest level? Does he want to go to a Power 5 school and see how he plays there? I mean, we know he can do it at a non-Power 5. So, I mean, interesting. I mean, he's only 5'9", 215 pounds, but, man, he's one of the most phenomenal linebackers I've ever seen play.
Kind of like Daryl Singletary is about 5'9", 5'10".
Mike Singletary was probably 5'10".
Yeah, Mike, that's what I meant, Mike Singletary.
Who he reminds you of, and I watched a lot of Saints games, he's really similar to Sam Mills. Sam Mills was a guy that played for the Saints, and then I think finished his career with Carolina Panthers. He's 5'9", probably 220 pounds. And, I mean, he was just so quick. And he played in the NFL for years and years.
The Senior Bowl started in 1950. Was it called the Blue-Gray game then? Is that what it was called? The Blue-Gray?
Oh, no, I always called the Blue-Gray in Montgomery, but maybe it was.
Well, the Senior Bowl, but I can remember trying to watch that, and the players would swap decals or something. On their helmets. They'd put different decals on there, but I remember enjoying watching that. And the Hula Bowl was another all-star game. I don't think that one takes place anymore. And I read a report where the University of Hawaii is trying to find a place to play college football next year because that stadium is going to be closed. So they may have to play on the West Coast their home games. I believe that is correct. Or play somewhere.
Why don't they move them to Birmingham and they can just play all their games at Legion Field? Because UAB will have their new stadium.
Right. Now, will that stadium be ready in the fall, Michael?
Yeah. It's definitely going to be ready. Yeah.
Well, we were talking about
Bill. That is an unbelievable site in Birmingham.
Well,
see that downtown now?
Yeah. It's like Bill Rice has played, not Bill Rice, the coach there, his name, Bill Clark. He's played the waiting game at UAB. They were temporarily not playing, but, he slowly, that program has built up. And imagine running on that brand new football field for the first time and opening up. And, they won their conference. I believe that's correct. And so they didn't have a chance to play in the bowl game, did they? Didn't they get knocked out of the bowl?
South Carolina had COVID issues. And right. That was a shame. They didn't get to play. They would have beat South Carolina.
Right. So, UAB, one of the top rising programs in the South, and I believe South Alabama is going to pick up the pace just a little bit, and hope we can maintain get a little bit better at Troy than what we were, and just one day at a time.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what happens. A lot of new coaches in this area. Of course, I want to appreciate Matt coming on today. Matt Brown, head basketball coach, Pilot Arts. Thanks for force to bring him in on the show. Of course, want to thank all our sponsors, Wise Office Supplies, Sisters Restaurant, Troy Bank and Trust. Of course, go see Jason Greger out at Premier. A lot of sales going on. Forrest, wrap us up.
I will.
You got another guest coming in tomorrow and tell us about that.
All right, thank you, Michael. And, of course, we want your daddy to continue to heal up. And thank you, Miss Carol, for taking care of him. But tomorrow on Today in L.A., we're going to have Diana Lee. She's with the Troy Pike County Habitat for Humanity organization. There's a polar bear plunge coming up at the rec department on Saturday, January the 30th at 9 a.m. You can call Troy Bank and Trust at 566-4000. They can transfer you to Diana Lee. You can go to their website on Facebook. There's a way to register to take the dive. It's $25. There's corporate sponsorships out there. Worthy cause. The Habitat for Humanity for Troy and Pike County. Thank you for joining us on Today in L.A. We'll be back tomorrow bright and early. Have a great day.
the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local.